You do not have to put a down payment if you get approved for the total cost of that vehicle. It will be 100% cost. You should not have to come anywhere out of pocket. And some of them will give you the funds within 24 hours or same day. Welcome back to Success with Steven. My name is Steven Smith. On this channel, we discuss all things financial literacy. Last year, I made a video on how to buy a car with bad credit and no money down. So today I wanted to come back and actually update this video for 2025. Now, according to current predictions, getting a car in 2025 is expected to be significantly easier than it has been in recent years due to a softening new car market with more available inventory and less need to pay above MSRP, especially for less popular brands. And as usual, I'm going to be walking you through this step by step. So without further ado, let's get right into the video and how you can get a car with bad credit and no money down in 2025. For full transparency, when I say that you're going to buy a car with bad credit, I'm actually saying that we're going to use some information to strategically give you the best opportunity to be approved for an auto loan with the most favorable interest rates. Luckily for us, last year, there were several rate cuts, and because of that, interest rates have actually improved significantly from last year. So this does give you a better opportunity to get a car for a lower monthly payment. And hack is just a buzzword. With this strategy, we're going to increase your credit score in a very short period of time. And this is going to seemingly be overnight. It's going to appear as if your credit score just jumped up out of nowhere. So there will be some general credit building strategies that you probably have already heard, but when you use them in combination, you're going to get some great results. So again, this is going to be nothing out of the ordinary. Anyone can do this. I really want to preface that. Anyone can use these simple strategies to get a vehicle with bad credit. If you follow the steps in this video, all we're doing is using quality strategies with information, and I've compiled all of this into one comprehensive guide for you to follow along with. Step one is raising your credit score seemingly overnight. I'm going to give you the most effective way to raise your score in a short period of time so that you can get this car. You need to be added as an authorized user to someone's credit card. And I'm going to explain this as if I'm speaking to someone who knows nothing about credit, because I don't want to alienate anyone who's watching this video. Someone may be hearing this information for the first time. So if this seems obvious to you, I apologize, but bear with me. An authorized user is someone who's added to a primary cardholder's credit card account. Even though a credit card company will issue a card for that authorized user, your name is going to be on that card. It is the primary user's legal responsibility to pay any charges on that account. I just want to explain exactly what it means to be an authorized user. So when you're added onto someone's credit card account as an authorized user with various credit cards, you get to adopt that person's payment history. So if you're asking yourself, how will this actually help me get a car? Well, being an authorized user on another person's credit card can give you all of their on-time payment history, instantly increasing your credit score seemingly overnight. And I just want to share a story with you. Now, when I tried to get my first car, I had very bad credit, but my mom added me on as an authorized user to one of her credit cards. When she added me on to one of her credit cards, I received all of her positive payment history, and my credit score went from around the mid 500 range and shot up to around like the 630 range. And it was essentially like overnight. I went from bad credit to fair credit. And usually fair credit is really all that you need to qualify for a car. So that's what we need to do. We need to get your score to at least the 600 range. And the reason why this is going to work is because 35% of your credit score is on-time payments. On-time payments. So the more on-time payments you have, the better your score is going to be. So if you get an account with 3, 4 years, 5 years of on-time payment history, that's already 35% of your score. It's going to dramatically increase it. Then Another 30% of your credit score is utilization, how much credit is being used on that credit card. So if this person is only using, let's say 10% or less of their card, plus they have positive payment history, you're hitting 65% of what makes up a credit score. You can potentially see a 50, 80, possibly even a 100 point boost seemingly overnight once you get added onto that card. Now, if you're going to use this method, I recommend doing so right before the statement cycle date closes for that credit card. Now, if you have someone in mind, but they're hesitant, let them know they could add you on for 30 days. This will be a temporary boost to your score just in order for you to qualify for this car loan. You're not going to get a card, you can't spend it, and you're just trying to get a better rate for your vehicle. Myself, if I had a friend who was asking me, I would definitely do this for them because I just, I would want to help out. I wouldn't see anything wrong with that. It doesn't hurt me in any capacity. And, it's a very simple thing that you can do that can help someone. And if you wanted to throw them a little bit of money, now $50, $100 or something, just to say, hey, thank you, then maybe you could use that as well. Now, if you don't have anyone that you can ask to add you on as an authorized user, or you can't find anyone willing to add you on, there is an alternative method, and we are going to go over that alternative method next. Now, if you cannot find anyone to add you on as an authorized user, then you can use a vendor trade line. Now, these are two that I've talked about in the past. One is Coastal Trade Lines, and the other one is Tradeline Supply. With these trade lines, you can get an instant credit boost, and you don't have to ask anyone that you don't know to add you on. You actually pay for trade lines, and that's a way that you can get this instant credit boost and get the credit history. So let's go over to both the websites and we'll discuss exactly how these trade lines work. Currently, we are on Coastal Trade Lines website, and this is authorized user trade lines for sale, the fastest and most reliable offer to boost your credit score. Now, you can purchase trade lines and boost your credit score in just 1 week. Now, if you want to do this, you can actually click on See Trade Lines, and they will take you to all the trade lines that are available. So it lets you know right here, March trade line launch, Wednesday, February 19th, 12 p.m. Eastern Time. You pick your own trade line, fastest and most reliable way to boost your credit score, and this is how you navigate the inventory. You can check the state of origin, the credit limit, the history, like it says 9 years here, the statement date, that's how you know when it's going to report on your credit, and then how many spots are actually left. Now, for the state of origin, you could actually get one in your same state. For me personally, my mom, when she added me on as an authorized user, she lived in New Orleans at the time. I lived in Nevada, Las Vegas. I didn't have an issue, so I don't think it actually matters. But if you just wanted to do that just to do it, then you actually can. All these lines will post consistently for 3 months. They offer value trade lines. These are best for anyone new to credit or starting to rebuild. These trade lines are $250 or less, right? City trade line, it's only $1,000, but it's 5.5 years. The 21st is the statement date, and it's $250. So if you want a smaller trade line, then you could do something like that, like $7,000 for 4 years. All of these. Now, these are aged trade lines, 7+ years. Now, if we scroll down, there's a couple spots left. Here is a Barclays trade line, $15K, 7.5 years. Cutoff is on the 7th. It's $500. There's one Discover 9 years, 12.3K. Cuts off on the 6th, $480. Now, guys, I just want to make a point that it does not matter the amount of the trade line necessarily. What really matters is how old the trade line is. Also, if you are 18 years old, you can't have a 22-year-old trade line. That doesn't make a lot of sense. So please think about it when you're doing it. Make it make sense. You just need to find something that will give you what you need. Like, you don't have to spend $890. You can do something simple like this with $580, but of course it's 22 years. So, mind your age and just make sure that it makes sense. Now, there are some March trade lines here that you can take a look at. Again, always follow along with the dates. Now, the lines with an asterisk have excellent posting histories. Grab these to minimize risk of non-posting. That is a possibility. It does happen. You need to post to all three bureaus. Then you need to make sure that you have a Bank of America, PNC, or a Regions trade line. And they do have 3 trade lines per order maximum. Orders with 3 or more trade lines will be canceled immediately. Don't forget to remove any fraud alerts from your file before adding authorized user trade lines. Otherwise, it will not post and your order will not qualify for a refund. All right. So you do need to make sure that you are doing that. And if you do have any other questions, I would contact Coast Trade Lines directly. But this is a very, very simple way to boost your credit score. If you don't have anyone that can do it, I recommend trying to find family or a friend. If you do not have family or a friend that can do that, then this is what I recommend. In the grand scheme of things, spending $250 to even maybe $600 seems like a very small amount in order for you to get this vehicle and in order for you to be able to qualify for a lower interest rate. It just depends on your perspective. Let's move on to the next website. We're now on the Tradeline Supply Company website. So Tradeline Supply Company is a leader in providing solutions to end credit invisibility by providing universal access to authorized user trade lines. We help deliver equal credit opportunity. And we can go to buy trade lines. It's right at the very top. And this just gives you a list here. So this one is going to be pretty much the exact same. As you can see, there's the different banks right here: Chase, the card ID, the credit limit, the date the account was opened, the purchase deadline for it to report, the reporting period, and then how many they have in stock. So let's see if there's anything that has like a decent price with a decent trade line. So here is a Barclays card, $11,500, July 2020. So somewhere around like 4 years. And it looks like the period is March the 9th. So it can report between March 20th and March 27th. There's 2 in stock for $460. You know, that's not that bad. Let's see if there's anything that's a little more cost effective. Now, what you'll notice is the older the account, the more that it's going to actually cost. Like there is a trade line here, CP1, $6,500. And this one, 2 in stock, is $517. Here's one that's not that bad. It's a Barclays account, $20,000. December 20th is the date that it was opened. And that's 2020. And this one has 4 years and 2 months, $20,000 for the limit. Purchase deadline is March 25th. And the reporting date can be April 5th through April 12th. So this one is not bad for the price, $546. Once again, I just recommend that you go through, you click on each one of these, find the one that makes the most sense for you, because there's so many and there's so many prices. So try to find the one that's the most cost effective, that will give you the highest limit with the longest amount of history and one that makes sense for your age. All right. So you could check out both of these websites, but I will state it again because in my previous video that I did, I actually had people in the comments that they actually tried to insult me because they asked me, why would I think that someone could afford this? And I'm thinking to myself, well, then have someone do it for free. And then they say, well, I don't have anyone that can do that for me. I don't know everyone's situation. I'm hoping that everyone here has family that would do this for them for free. And if you don't, then here's your alternative. I don't know what your situation is. I'm speaking to a broad audience. So if you don't have that, that's your personal situation. If you don't, hey, this is the solution. Here's your alternative. There's so many different options, and it doesn't make sense for you to just put yourself in a bad mental space just because you may not like the options. That won't change your situation. You have to figure out a plan and ultimately figure out the best and most cost-effective way for you to get this stuff done, or whatever best in your own personal interest. If you don't, this is the alternative. Now, for step number 2, we are going to find a credit union to get your auto loan with. Now, a credit union is a non-profit financial institution that is owned by the people who use its financial products. Credit union members can access the same kind of products and services that are offered by a traditional bank, such as credit cards and checking accounts, savings and loans. But the members elect a board of directors to manage the credit union to ensure that their best interests are represented. A credit union aims to serve its members by offering competitive rates that will be less fees, and they're not the same as for-profit banks that are just looking to make a lot of money. Credit unions, they care more about the relationship with the members than they care about your credit score. And your credit score does play a factor. I don't want to downplay that. It does play a factor. But what's more important to a credit union is the relationship with the member, even more so than your credit score. Since a credit union is owned by its members, you'll need to meet eligibility requirements in order to qualify and open an account and ultimately take out this auto loan. Now, credit unions, once again, they offer lower rates than with traditional banks, and they really are more lenient with their approval process. This is what's going to help you be able to get this car without having to, cost an arm and a leg. And even if your credit isn't perfect, like after this credit boost, maybe you have some derogatory information, some charge-offs, some collections, something like that, and you may not have the time to remove them fast enough, or at least if you need this vehicle more immediately, having a credit union, you're more likely to get approved. In step number 3, I put together these top 4 credit unions for auto lenders to date as of right now. So right now it is Thursday, February 27th, 2025. And the reason that I want to make sure that I state this date on the video, and you can see this in the description as well, so it may not matter, but I want you to understand that the rates might change. So if you're watching this 6 months from now, a year from now, 2 years from now, whenever, you need to go to the website of each of these credit unions, and you need to make sure that the rates have not changed or any of their terms and conditions or pre-qualifications have not changed. But I'm going to tell you why I chose these lenders, because this is going to be perfect for someone who has maybe bad credit or fair credit, and they want to actually get a car in the best case scenario. You can actually get pre-approved for a majority of these credit unions before you have to take a hard inquiry. For 3 of them, you can get pre-approved with no hard inquiry. I also have a video that will show you how to remove any hard inquiries. Ultimately, if you're denied, it really is no harm, no foul. You can just remove the hard inquiry. So it doesn't matter, but I do want to give people the opportunity to at least see if they can pre-qualify for 75% of these credit unions. The other thing is that there are low interest rates. We already talked about this, but these 4 credit unions have the lowest interest rates that I have seen to date. All right. If you can find one with better interest, by all means, drop it in the comments below. But at the time of recording this video, from the research that I did, these are the lowest interest rates that I found. Okay, I did that so you don't have to look. But again, by all means, if you look and you find anything better, drop it in the comments below. As time goes on, if interest rates get lower, mind the date. Because if interest rates got lower and this video is 10 months old, then obviously you're going to find lower rates. The next thing is that there is no down payment. Whenever you get approved for an auto loan with these credit unions, they will cut you a check for the total amount of that vehicle. You do not have to put a down payment if you get approved for the total cost of that vehicle. It will be 100% cost. You should not have to come anywhere out of pocket. And some of them will give you the funds within 24 hours or same day. I believe the maximum time is 48 hours on all 4 of these. But again, you want to make sure to always contact them, follow up, make sure all the information is still valid. But it should be same day funding or at the latest up to 48 hours. And the last reason that I picked these 4 credit unions for auto loans is because they have a low credit requirement. The lowest minimum credit score requirement is 600. And to be honest, that's actually only the minimum stated for one of these credit unions. The rest of them actually don't have a minimum credit score requirement. And the reason why that is, I've explained this in other videos. The reason why it's hard to get a personal loan, sometimes credit cards, is because credit cards and personal loans are unsecured debt. Most cars, mostly anybody can get a car with a bad credit score. You just may have an outrageous down payment where the dealer is taking advantage of you and that actual down payment doesn't go towards the vehicle. It really goes into their pocket. They just add the down payment on top of the car and pocket it. That's why I recommend you get approved for your vehicle, take the check down to the dealer and purchase the car. That way it's no funny business. The other thing is, if you have a very low credit score, they will give you this car because it's a collateral loan. Your car acts as collateral, and if you don't pay them, they'll come repossess it. That's the reason why it's so much easier to get approved for collateral backed loans or auto loans than it is for an unsecured loan that is backed by nothing. So again, anyone will give you an auto loan. They just may give you the most unfavorable terms, the most predatory rates, and they may ask you for the most outrageous down payment. I've made this to pretty much save you of all of that. You can get pre-qualified. You can remove hard inquiries if need be. You'll get the lowest interest rate. You won't have to have a down payment, and you can go in there with a very low credit score requirement with confidence that you can be approved. Now, with all that said, let's finally get into these 4 credit unions that I recommend for auto loans in 2025 so you can get this car, whether your credit is bad, fair, or what have you. You are going to be able to qualify for this vehicle. Now, with NASA Federal Credit Union being our first lender on this list, it's a credit union that anyone can join. The longer that you extend your loan term for this particular credit union, the higher your APR will be. I will be going over that with you. The less time, the lower the APR, because of course, the less time that you're paying on a loan, it means less risk. The more time, the more risk of a potential default. So of course, that means higher interest. They also offer refinance options. Your credit score can be as low as 600 to get this auto loan, and you can also get pre-qualified without doing a hard inquiry. So that means you can make sure that you're able to actually get this loan without even impacting your credit score whatsoever. So let's go over to the website and we're going to take a look at how you can apply for this loan and how you can get your vehicle. I will be leaving all the links to all 4 credit unions in the description, so you can click there if you want to check it. Remember, at the time of recording this video, this is accurate information. As time goes on, these rates can fluctuate, so always be sure to click on the link and review it to make sure that this is still valid, okay? Whether you're buying a new car, a used car, or just refinancing your existing auto loan, a NASA Federal Auto Loan can put more money in your pocket. No payment is required for 60 days. Terms are flexible and rates are as low as 5.49% APR. That's smart. NASA smart. So with this auto loan, it's going to have a very, very low rate of 5.49%. That is the lowest. Again, no impact to your score because you can get pre-qualified. Now, they have terms up to 36 months. That's the way for you to get the lowest rate, 5.49%. The lower the term, the lower the rate. However, the lower the term, the higher the monthly cost. So just keep that in mind. Now, there are terms from 37 to 63 with a low APR of 6.09%, so on and so forth here. And you can take a look at which one that you would like to determine how low you want the APR to actually be. So to get started with this application, you can click on check your new and used auto rates. You would fill in all of this information and then you would click continue so you can check the rates without affecting your credit score. Before we move on from NASA Federal Credit Union, I recommend that you actually join the credit union first before applying for the auto loan. And if you do want to just have an even better chance of qualifying, keep the account for around at least 90 days to 6 months if you can wait. Deposit money or set up direct deposit, and that will greatly improve your chances of getting qualified. I mean, it'll substantially improve your chances. Of course, that's if you have the time. All right, let's move on to the next credit union on our list. The next credit union is Consumers Credit Union. Consumers Credit Union, anyone can join. You don't have to have any special qualification, and they have rates as low as 4.49%. There is no minimum credit score that's required that they at least list, and it takes about 48 hours for them to make a lending decision. So we are going to go over to their website and take a look at what other information that we can gather and where do you go to fill out this application. Currently, we are on Consumers Credit Union. If we scroll down, we can see here rates are as low as 4.49% APR, and that is when you're buying with CC's car buying service. If you don't use their car buying service, your rates can be as low as 4.99%. Now, if we scroll down, it actually shows you that the car buying service is just something where they help you find a vehicle, and if you use it to purchase your vehicle, then you can save on some interest. Now, here are the steps. You do the pre-approval. You calculate your monthly payments. This is where you shop around with financing in hand, shop confidently for your next car, plus get a 0.50% rate discount when you purchase your vehicle through CCU's consumer car buying service and finance the loan with CCU. You'll complete your loan documents after you find your new vehicle. Then you want to send the purchase agreement via email or fax. You sign the documents right from your phone, online, or by visiting a branch. And then funds are sent directly to the dealership. So it's a very simple process for you to get the vehicle. And again, you can pre-qualify. Now, if you want to view the rates, I always recommend this before getting a vehicle. It lets you know that if the car is 2023 or newer, it's considered a new vehicle. New vehicles will always have a lower interest rate. So keep in mind, in order to get this low rate, you would have to have the CCU car buying service. You have to use that to find your vehicle. It also has to be in the 0 to 60 month term, and it has to be with a new car. Anything from 61 to 72 months, it's 5.34%. And anything with 73 to 84, it's 6.44. And of course, it shows you everything without the auto buying service. It would be 4.99, 5.84, 6.94. And then if it's a vehicle that is 2022 or older, and it has to be as old as 2019, then you can see that the rates actually go up. So if you use the car buying service, then it's 5.18. If not, 5.68. If you use it, it's 5.84 for 61 to 72 months on a used car. Without it, it's 6.34, so on and so forth. So as you can see, you want to do a certain type of purchase where you actually do use their car buying service. And if you get a newer vehicle, then you could potentially get a lower interest rate. So you may want to check that out when you're looking at, let's say, a 2019 vehicle without auto buying service on like a 73-month loan. If you're paying 7.39%, you may actually be paying the exact same with a new car by using the auto buying service for 60 months. So always compare these numbers just to make sure that you're getting the best rate possible, because you can get potentially a newer car for less. It just depends. You definitely want to check this out. And before you apply for a loan, once again, I recommend that you actually become a member. It makes it a lot easier. But you fill out all of this, your first name, last name, your identification is needed. They're going to need your driver's license or your state ID or your passport. They also accept your firearm identification card or your military ID. Any of these will be used as a form of identification. And then you would want to put your contact information. When you go next, they would also show you your funding options and then process. However, I recommend opening your account first, funding the account, and if you can set up direct deposit, that would also be to your benefit in order for you to get the best rate and to be able to qualify for this auto loan. The next credit union on our list is Navy Federal Credit Union. I do want to note that not everyone can join this credit union. I have several videos where I talk about joining Navy Federal and what the requirements are. You can be either a DOD employee, you can be in the military, the family member of someone who's in the military, the roommate of someone who's in the military if you pay half of the housing expenses, as well as if you have a child in ROTC. These are all ways that you can become a member. If you had a family member who was in the military, but they are deceased, you can contact Navy Federal, let them know that you had someone in the military, whatever branch that they are or that they were in, let them know, and then you might be able to become a member that way. Now, Navy Federal's lowest APR is 4.09%, and you can apply. Once you're approved, they will send you a check for the entire amount of the vehicle. This doesn't require a down payment. Once you have the check, you can purchase the vehicle from the dealership. Navy Federal pulls your TransUnion credit score, and there is not a minimum credit score requirement. However, Navy Federal is all about building relationships, and Navy Federal does have their own internal score. I have made several videos about Navy Federal. I recommend that you go to my channel and check out my Navy Federal videos. There's so many of them. There's one about building your internal score that should be very helpful. I recommend doing that. Now with Navy Federal, to give you my own personal experience, because I did not have this personal experience last year when I made this video, I have gotten, I believe, 5 auto loans with Navy Federal. I got one vehicle that I purchased. Then I actually got approved for a second vehicle that I actually signed the promissory note, got the loan for around $40,000. And then the vehicle actually was sold, so I had to cancel it. Then I was approved again for another auto loan with Navy Federal. And then that was for on the business side. And then I was approved for a refinance of the new car that I had just gotten. So I've had several experiences with Navy Federal when it comes to this auto loan. I do want to say that it is a very simple and very easy process. I've had nothing but great success, and I have nothing but great things to say about it. Now, if you're trying to get this, I highly recommend opening up an account with Navy Federal first, funding it direct deposit, or following my video about how to build your internal score if you would like to learn exactly how you can qualify for most of their products. Now let's go over to the Navy Federal website and take a look at the rate. So auto loan rates as low as 4.09% APR for new vehicles, and you could get a decision in seconds plus a discount for active duty and retired military. So if we scroll down, these are the rates as of today. Once again, it is February 27, 2025. These rates are subject to change. Always check out the refinancing table. The only way for you to get that low 4.09% interest rate is to get a new vehicle that has up to 36 months of term. And that term is only going to be for that 3 years. Once you go beyond that 3 years, it's 4.49% for a new vehicle, so on and so forth. So you can play with this to figure out which way you would like this to go. You can pay a little bit extra interest if at the end maybe it only costs you an extra couple $100, but you got to lower your payment to something more feasible. This might work out very well for you. And you want to also look at the definition of a new vehicle. And this lets you know loan terms greater than 72 months, they're only available for vehicles with 7,500 miles. The minimum loan is $30,000 for terms 85 to 96 months. You always want to note that. New and late model used vehicles, 2024 and newer model vehicles, have to have 30,000 or fewer miles. So if it's a new vehicle or 2024, it has to have 3,000 or fewer miles. Used vehicles are 2023 or older models. Vehicles that have 20 years or older, based on the model year, they're considered classics or antique and are subject to other eligible vehicle rates. And you guys can use the calculator to see those rates and figure out which one is best for you. I've quite enjoyed all of my experiences with them. I really don't have anything negative to say. The only thing that I would just say is building a relationship is paramount to getting approved with ease. Okay, so just make sure that you do that. The last credit union on our list is Penfed Credit Union. Now, Penfed has the actual same low APR as Navy Federal. The difference is anyone can join Penfed. Now, if your credit score is lower than 580, I definitely recommend establishing a relationship with them first. But if you followed along with this video, you should have at least a 600. Pre-qualifying does not affect your credit score, and Penfed will do same-day funding. You just need to ask for it. A minimum credit score requirement is not set, but I would shoot for at least 630 if possible. Penfed is the largest auto loan lender in the US, so this might be a good place for you to start. So with Penfed, rates are, once again, at the time of recording, as low as 4.09% APR. I do like that they have up to 125% financing. So if you end up, like, let's say, trading in a vehicle with some negative equity, or you end up having to have something where it goes over the price, You can finance up to 125% of the vehicle. You can also see if you pre-qualify right here on the website. This will not affect your credit score. And this is the best in class rates. So great rates on new and used cars and trucks, and loan amounts up to $150,000, pre-approval in minutes. And you can use their actual car buying service to search for a vehicle. And you can also use their calculator to estimate your rates. And there is a table here that you want to check out. So, if you want those best rates, the lower the term, the better the rate that you're going to receive. You also want to have a new vehicle. If the vehicle is used, understand that your rates will be higher. So you want to check that out. And that also is determined by the miles. So even a new auto purchase, model year 2024 or newer and never titled, it's going to be 4.89%. There's also the model 2024 newer and never titled. And the difference with both of these is the discounted auto loan rates with Penfed. You need to use their car buying service for your vehicle financing. So if you do that, you save quite a bit on the APR, and you definitely want to do that. If that's an option and you can do that, like right here, I suggest always doing that. And then it goes up slightly with 48 months, a little bit more with 60. If 60 months is more reasonable for what you want to pay per month, then this might make sense for you right here in the middle. Now 72 and 84 starts to get a little bit higher. So this one might actually be the best. It's not too far off. And if you use the calculator, so let's say you wanted to pay for a vehicle on a 36-month loan term. The vehicle was $35,000 and we got the lowest interest rate possible. You would be paying $1,035 a month, but your total interest rate would only be $2,251. All right. But let's say that we wanted to have longer payments. We wanted to have just a little bit more time to actually pay this car off and to lower our actual monthly payment. So we went from $1,000 some odd dollars to only $652. Now we do have around an extra $1,800 in interest. Keep that in mind. But these payments may be more feasible for us. So paying the extra $1,800 in interest over 60 months may not seem like a big deal if we have more reasonable monthly payments. So again, it's always a good idea to consider this, play with this, and just see what works best for you. And again, establishing a relationship will definitely yield the best results. All right. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you were able to use any of these strategies or steps to get a new car, please drop that in the comments below. I would like to know that. I would like to hear that this information is actually helping you. I really do want to ensure that if you're having a hard time getting a car, that this is going to effectively be good information. And I want to make sure that this is helpful to you in some way, form, or fashion. So please drop a comment below if you were able to get one of these vehicles using these strategies, or just, if you have any additional credit unions that you want to add, please drop it in the comments below. I'd be more than happy to answer any questions or give you any of my experiences. And know that you're not limited to any one of these credit unions that I listed here. There are some local credit unions that also work out just as well. I just wanted to make sure I mentioned credit unions that were available to everyone. But if you have a credit union that's just in your area or just in your region that would work out better, by all means, go to that credit union. Everyone has them. And if they can offer you some really good rates, then the same strategy would apply. So once again, thank you so much for watching this video. Just want to make sure that I'm putting out as much content to help you as possible. And I will see you in the next video. You guys have a wonderful day.